Let's talk about something that can turn your life upside down in an instant: water damage. You know, it's one of the most common emergencies for any property owner, but it's so much more than just a puddle on the floor. It's this fast-moving threat that can seriously mess with the structure of your home, often before you even know how bad it really is. To really get a grip on this, let's zoom in on a place that's on the front lines of this battle every single day: Miami, Florida. It's a city where that beautiful water you see everywhere is also a constant, hidden danger. So you have to ask, right? What makes a city like Miami so incredibly vulnerable? Well, it's not just one thing. It's a whole mix of factors that create this perfect storm, a really high-stakes environment for anyone who owns property there. Let's break down exactly what's going on.
Miami's problems really come from a whole bunch of different angles. I mean, you've got the obvious stuff, right? It's at sea level, and it's always in the path of hurricanes. But get this, the ground itself is a problem. The bedrock is this spongy limestone that can actually push water up from below. Then you add in aging infrastructure, like old cast iron pipes in homes that are just corroding away. And think about all those high-rises. One little leak can travel down and damage dozens of apartments. Even something as simple as your AC, which runs all the time, can cause a flood inside your walls if a line gets clogged.
So with all these risks stacked up, it's really not a question of if disaster strikes, but when. And the cause isn't always some huge hurricane you see on the news. A lot of the time, it's something way more ordinary, happening right inside the house. Yeah, we all picture that catastrophic storm flood, but honestly, the most common troublemakers are usually already in your home. It could be a burst pipe under your kitchen sink, a cracked hose on the washing machine, or a toilet that just won't stop overflowing. These everyday little failures can dump hundreds of gallons of water into your house in just minutes, and that damage starts immediately. Okay, so the water's in. Now what? Well, the very first question, and it's a huge one, is this: where did that water come from? Because that answer changes everything. For a restoration pro, the source tells them exactly how to respond, what gear to use, and how dangerous it is for your health. You've basically got two extremes to think about. On one end, you have what they call clean water. Think of a supply line bursting. It's a huge mess for sure, but it's not an immediate biohazard. But on the other end, you've got black water, and this is the nasty stuff. It's what comes from sewage backups or storm floods, and it's packed with all kinds of contaminants. This is a serious health risk, and cleaning it up requires a totally different and much more specialized approach. So how do you even begin to fight back against this? Well, proper water removal is so much more than just grabbing some mops and fans. No way. It's a whole science called structural drying, and it's all about fighting the moisture you can't even see. The pros follow a really strict, methodical plan. They start by using things like thermal cameras to find all the hidden moisture behind walls and under floors. Then they bring in powerful pumps to extract all the standing water. But the real work, the heavy lifting, is the drying phase. They set up this whole fleet of high-powered air movers and industrial dehumidifiers to literally pull the moisture out of the building's bones. And they're not just guessing. They're taking precise readings every day until they know for sure the materials are dry. And listen, this is really important to understand. This is not a quick fix. It's not a one-day job, especially in a humid place like Miami, where the air is already full of moisture. You're looking at 3 to 5 days of non-stop, professional drying to get that hidden water out and stop long-term problems like rot and mold. So, during those 3 to 5 days, what are they actually aiming for? What's the magic number they're trying to hit? It's this: 15%. But what on earth does that actually mean? That number is what they call the target moisture content. It's the scientifically proven point where building materials, especially wood, are considered officially dry and safe. The entire goal of the whole process is to get below that 15% threshold. Because if you don't, you're basically leaving the door wide open for the biggest hidden threat of them all. Because once all the visible water is gone, the real race begins. This is the fight against the damage you can't see, and believe me, it is a battle against the clock. Just look at how fast this all happens. It's a ticking clock. In a humid place, mold can start to grow on surfaces in just 24 hours. By the 48-hour mark, it's not just growing anymore, it's colonizing. That means it's starting a full-blown infestation in your home. This is exactly why getting a fast, professional response isn't just a good idea, it's everything. So let's say the water is out, the structure is dry, mission accomplished, right? Well, now comes the final and often the most confusing part of this whole ordeal: navigating your insurance to recover financially. And this right here is where so many people get a really nasty shock. Your standard homeowner's policy will probably cover damage from something sudden and accidental, like a pipe bursting. But, and this is the huge but, it almost never covers damage from external flooding, like a hurricane storm surge. For that, you need a totally separate flood insurance policy. And in a high-risk place like Miami, that's not a luxury, it's an absolute necessity. So the professionals have left, the insurance claim is filed, it feels like it's all over. But is it? Really? An experience like this hammers home just how critical prevention is, and how important it is to understand your insurance before a disaster ever happens. It really makes you realize that the ripple effects of water damage can stick around long after the floors are finally dry.